I bring something different, something interesting topic for you. Yes, I am going to be talk about the ServiceNow interview questions from the business analyst perspective, from the consultant perspective, from the admin perspective, and from the development perspective. Little bit I'll try to cover on the development side as well. Before I start, let me clarify here that these questions I collect from the different sources and also something coming from my personal experience as well. These are the questions. I try to give you some answers as well, but I recommend that if you are watching this video, please try to be answered in the comment section so that everybody can get benefited in the interview. So let's start the discussion today. So I tried to divide the set of questions in the different sections so that it is easy for us that what is important for a developer, for a consultant, for a business analyst to understand these points. So the first point, the first section which says that about the introduction. So generally it has been asked in the interview that please tell us about yourself on the ServiceNow perspective. The earlier time and the now it has been completely changed. Now the interviewer want to be listen that what you are actually doing in the ServiceNow area. So I would like to be answer here that please start with your latest experience and also try to be tell to the interviewer about more on the ServiceNow area, that in which module you have a expertise. So maybe you can say that I am 100% in the ITSM area, 30 to 40% in the CMDB, 70% in the GRCs, 80% in the HRRG. It means this will give a clear picture to the interviewer that okay, in these areas he or she can be explore more from your perspective. Also, whenever you are doing the introduction, try to be more on the examples perspective that you have done these things. Like if you say that I was working in a project X where I was able to save 20% of the cost. I was working on a project Y where we have deployed the ServiceNow and 200 man hours per month has been saved. If I say I'm working on the project Z, I was able to achieve almost the maximize their processes as well on the 30% or the 40%. So these are the example, these are the percentage, these are the facts and figures play a very important role in that area. It's my personal recommendation, don't go more than 6 to 7 years old experience. Just you can say that you're working in XYZ company, but customer or the interviewer is more interested about your latest experience, because nowadays everybody know that how the ServiceNow is growing at point of time. After this, after putting the things on the introduction part, the next topic come or the next point come that about the ServiceNow basics. So I am going to be cover few set of questions in the ServiceNow basics, and don't worry, it can be asked to anyone. Either you're applying for a consultant, either you're applying for the business analyst, either you're applying for the developer, or either you're applying for the admin role. Believe me guys, this is from my personal experience. When I started my journey in ServiceNow, these set of question has been asked to me. The first question which I say that if everybody interested want to be know from the interview that okay, tell me which version of which release of ServiceNow you are using or currently working in your customer side or maybe in your company. So be clear that what you have to be answered. Don't say we are using this and we are maybe using this. You should be very sure on that part. If you say okay, I'm working on the San Diego, I'm working on the Rome, I'm working on the Orlando, I'm working on the London, you should be very clear on that part. If you put this question, the second question which has been asked by the interview, what are the new feature available in this particular release? So if you are saying that you are working on the cubic, you should be know at least 5 to 7 basics or the new features available in the cubic. So maybe you can put that change model is one of the things which has been reduced in the cubic up to some level. Maybe if I say I'm working in the San Diego, so on the San Diego we have a very major features has been available by ServiceNow, but I recommend everybody says that okay, in the San Diego ServiceNow release the new look and feel interface. It is not a new look and feel, it is a unified experience. It is a next experience given by ServiceNow. This is the one basic which you should know. After that you can put a lot of things like San Diego. In the San Diego we have a change model. ATF has been expanded a lot. The user experiences with their reporting has been updated, dashboards has been updated. Also try to be remember or try to be get at least 2 or 3 features from each area: ITSM, CSM, ITBM, GRC. But it should not be looked like a fake that you are just putting the mugging and putting the things. You should be know 2 or 3 things, but it should be able you be able to explain that part. Then from the personal experience part, this was a question asked to me in the interview that how you can check that which version of ServiceNow you are using at point of time. So the simple answer is that stats.do is the command which we use to know about that particular thing. After this, if that person is comfortable, then he can move the forward. Otherwise, some more basics question can be asked, like what is application, what is module. So these are the questions which I'm putting here. This is applicable mainly for the freshers or 1 or 2 years of experience guy who is entering into the ServiceNow area. What is application, what is module? It should be very clear to you guys. They can ask in the interview that how many type of searches available in ServiceNow, like a list. In global search you can say, in the list view you can search easily. So multiple way of searching in the navigation also you can do that searching. So multiple type, or the 4 to 5 type searching is available in ServiceNow. It can be asked very clearly in that particular things, but the ServiceNow basics should be very clear on that part. So just to be recap it part, you should know the version you are working, the latest version. Also nowadays, as ServiceNow already announced that up to 2024 how many versions they're going to be released, so you should be knowing that part. If you are a consultant, specifically from the consulting perspective, that you should know the at least next 2 release name, next 3 releases name, that these are the comings, because it indicate yes, you are the actual, I can say, lover or learner of ServiceNow, so that you are be getting or keeping yourself as much as updated as possible. Then the next section I'm bringing on the data part. This question specifically asked from the consulting perspective. So in this area it has been asked that okay, what do you mean by the data here? Sometimes interviewers want to be confused to the person and say, okay, what do you mean by the data? Then in the answer you can ask that, are you talking about the foundation data or the transactional data? If it is a foundation data, then you can say any, or I can say user group, cities, departments, all the basics data which is required to run any process is a foundation data, including my CMDB data is a foundation data in that area. So you should be able to very, very clearly differentiate these things and able to tell to the interviewer that okay, in the foundation data I'm dividing these many things in the foundation data. Even though I can say my role, my groups, my admin parts, my CMDB data, my SLA also is, I can say, it includes in the foundation data specifically, because it is in one of the question, in one of the interviews it has been asked to me that you are a consultant, how you will start working or implementing on any of the ServiceNow module. So the answer which he want to be listen is that particular person want to be listen is from the data perspective. So you can start that before I kick off any process discussions, or maybe in the parallel of the process discussion I will start checking on the data, that what data available in the system as of now, and how I can say little bit on the decoration part, massaging part I can do, and I can bring that data into the ServiceNow. So this is from the data perspective I can say here. Now the third question which come here is basic, the fourth section come here is called the modules. Now interview want to be know more about your ServiceNow depth knowledge. So in this area I try to be divide few major portions which has been asked to any person, like incident, problem and change is the one of the basic module it has been asked. How the discussion starts specifically, the discussion start from the process. Okay, do you have any idea about the incident management? How incident, problem and change are interrelated? What are the main component, what are the common component which link incident, change and problem? What is the process of what is how many type of changes available in ServiceNow? So answers can be emergency change, standard change, normal change. How the workflow has been defined. I'm just putting the questions because these are the things which you can dig out and you can get the answer very easily on that front. Then the other question which can be asked from the change perspective, that how you calculate the risk in the change management. So the answer here for that answer is basically, because I'm putting few answers because I know that these has been specifically asked in the interview, and what interview want to be understand from you. So in the service now we have two ways to calculate the risk. Number one, it is out of the box given by in the change management, or you can install the plugin for the risk assessment, and then where you can set up the things, set up the questions in the interview, and then you can proceed for the risk assessment part. One more question which can be asked sometime, that on which state of change the workflow get attached. So answer can be, I'm putting can be because it can be different perspective from the different people. Someone says that when you click on the interceptor and click on the normal change, this is the time that workflows get attached. Or maybe someone can say that when I go to the change form, in that time when we select the change type, then also the particular workflow has been attached. Or someone can say that when the request approval button has been kicked off or has been clicked on, only then the approval or the workflow has been attached. So you have to be very careful on that particular answer. The only thing is that you should give that answer so that, you should reply some back on that area so that other person can understand this particular thing also in that particular area. Now from the incident management perspective, from the change management perspective, I'll come on the another part, that is nowadays in the San Diego, ServiceNow release a new concept called the change model. Why change model is important? What is the benefit of implementing the change model? So what I understood from the ServiceNow doc is that change model is basically they're bringing a concept of the product modeling, which they have on the CMDB level as well, on the hardware or the software level basically. So change model is one of the way that it says fit for purpose type of change can be raised, and it can be like, if my infrastructure team want to be used or want to be go through some other approval methods, they can use the change model. If my network team want to go for some other way of approval, they can use the change model. Now in this point the question can become where you can get an opportunity to attach a workflow or a flow, because change model has been bring with the capability to make the flow in the background. It's not recommended to use the workflow, it's recommended to use the flow. So there's a system property available where you can go and tick box that okay, what should be attached to my particular model. It should be workflow or it should be the flow only. So this is the important points. Also from the change perspective, the question can be asked on the CAB meeting, ECAB and the CAB, which type of changes go in the emergency. Specifically I can say, like in the emergency we don't have a assessment, we just have a authorize, but in the normal change we have a assess and the authorize. So this question can be asked. Again, this question I'm talking from the consulting perspective, as a business analyst perspective, that what do you mean by the assess and what do you mean by the authorize here. Then I come to the incident management. Incident is all the basic module, but we have to be very careful on the incident management as well. Like in the incident management, ServiceNow introduced a concept called, or the module called, the major incident management. Actually it is nowadays it is widely used. So it can be asked in the interview that what do you mean by, or what do you understand by the major incident management module and how it work into the practical life. So major incident management module basically support to work on a major incident where we have a specific role called the major incident manager. He or she has a full rights to make, or not to make, to promote or de-promote any incident to the major incident. If I promote any incident as a major incident, then the specific task has been generated, specific communication has been generated, which a MI manager can go and make a check into the ServiceNow. Means just to be automate the things on a single place, you are be using the major incident management process, and everything will be ready in that. You can prepare the major incident report also after the major incident has been closed. So the benefit is that the actions which a major incident is doing from the email outlook, now he or she can do from this perspective. Now from the problem management perspective, I just have 2 points to be discussed here. Number one, that it has been asked to me in one of the interview that what do you mean by the non-error and how you can create the non-error. There's a checkbox available called the non-error, and what is the difference between that checkbox and the non-error knowledge article? What is the difference between these two? So this specific question has been asked, but overall picture looks good on that part. Now I come to the next section, that is called the request management. A beautiful topic to be discussed in depth as well. The prime question, the first question which come into this picture is that what do you mean by the REQ, RATM and SC task? REQ is the parent. In the REQ, one REQ we have the multiple RATMs, means multiple items, and the one in the one item we have the multiple tasks available. So like take example that I'm ordering something from Amazon in a one go. Just let's say I'm ordering one mobile phone, one laptop, one wardrobe. So one order will be created, that is called the REQ. In that order I have three items. One is mobile phone, one is laptop, and one is my wardrobe. And under that we have a multiple task available. So this is the first structure. First question has been asked into the request management side. The second question which can be asked, that what is the difference between the order guide, catalog item, and the record producer. So very thin line in all these things. Order guide, basically it is a set of or collection of the multiple request item on a one place. It can be used like for the new joiner who joined the new company and want to get everything to be done, then he can use the order guide. Record producer is like for the incident table, where only one record has been generated in the background in the table, and the catalog item means where two records has been generated. One is the REQ and one is the RITM in that particular area. After that, to link this particular request management, we are coming on the workflow. Nowadays it is a flow designer into the picture. The question can be asked, why we should use the flow designer? The reason can be because flow designer is the latest of given by ServiceNow. Also it has the capacity to do the multiple kind of error handling. Also you can use the integration hub for integration part for this particular thing. So these are the 3 or 4 benefits which you can put here. But another benefit that being a consultant, I can do drag and drop. I can just say plus minus, or I can put some simple conditions and I can create the flow at immediate quickly, and it is a quick in the execution as well. If I speak from the workflow perspective, then the question can be asked, okay, what do you mean by the workflow, and how many default or the basic activities, or I can say the workflow activities has been given by ServiceNow. So here you have to be remember that 7 to 8 I can say the activities that includes the timer, change activity, approver, email, notification. So all the things you have to be put it in this particular area. Now the next portion I'm picking up here is the portal. Portal, what do you mean by the portal, and who use the portal? What is the benefit of the portal? And did you have an exposure to the portal? How to configure the portal? This is very important point here. So from the portal perspective, multiple questions can be asked. It can be technical, it can be non-technical. So you should know that how the basic navigation of the portal actually working, so you can define that particular part. Now next is the integration perspective. If I speak from the consultant or the business analyst side in the integration, the basic question has been asked that, okay, do you have an experience in the integration? If you say yes, what type of integration you have done? So you can say that I done the integration with ServiceNow XYZ tool. Then the question come that what are the steps required to do the integration? So I can say the high level points, high level answer on this questions. Basically, to do an integration, number one, I should know the destination endpoint URL and the authentication, that is a IP, or I can say the URL for the next tool. Let's say I want to be integrate ServiceNow with the Jira, so I should know the Jira URL plus how to log into the Jira. I need that particular username and the password in the authentication part. Then you can say that we need to be understand as a consultant that do we need a bi-directional integration or the unidirectional integration. Now third point, I can say that before doing the integration we have to be understand that is the process in this tool going to be work in a same manner or not. The fourth point, I can say whenever we are doing the integration, before that we have to be checked that how many field or which fields we can map from the destination to the source, like from ServiceNow to Jira. Do we need every field in the ServiceNow? Do we need to create more fields in the ServiceNow? And the last, that how the data messaging can be done. Like if I take example in Jira, I have a state called the assigned. But in ServiceNow we don't have a assigned, we have a in progress. So it means whenever I'm bringing the data from the Jira to the ServiceNow, I have to put something in the between that is called the staging table. do the data messaging, convert that in assign to the impros, and then show to the ServiceNow area. So these are the few set of questions which can be asked in that particular interview perspective. Now the next topic I'm bringing here, that's called the CMDB and the CSDM model, a hot cake in the market. So generally the discussion starts that what do you mean by the CMDB? You can say configuration management database, but how this can be worked? So it is a combination. It is a place where you can store all your server, or I can say networks, IP, anything. I'll not say that anything. The components which help you to provide the services are called the CI. So you can store that CI in a hierarchical manner. Now the question comes, what do you mean by the hierarchical manner? So in this case, you should know the basics. Service CMDB table, like CMDB_CI is the base table of the code table, I can say here. And then on the top of that, we have the hardware asset tables, how the CI and the asset has been interrelated. What is the difference between asset and the CI? This is a very important question. It can be asked that what is the life cycle of a asset? What is the life cycle of a CI? This is the one question can be asked. Nowadays, as a CSGM on the place, so question can be asked, what do you understand by the CSGM? In this point of question, you have to be answer like on the CSGM part, we have the 4 quadrants available: consume, sell, support, and at last the application side, the technical part, I can say. So you have to be remember that 4 quadrant where you can say that what I'm selling to the customer, how this can be supported, and then who is be maintaining in the background and who is be supporting at the last. But in this case, you have to be very clear on the 4 sections. It includes your technical service, business capability, business services, application services, application support group. If the question is started on the CSGM part, the question can be asked that what do you mean by the dynamic CI group? So this is a concept has been given by ServiceNow in the CSGM, where you can bring or you can put the CIs in a one place on the basis of some parameter, basis of some condition, the approval or the usage or the groups has been mapped or the tagged for that particular action item here. Then the last point which can be asked, that what is the benefit of the CSGM? Why ServiceNow brings CSGM, and what is the latest version of CSGM is going at point of time? So that part, CSGM 4.0 is into the market at point of time. I'll not say it's in market, but the draft white paper, or I should say the white paper of the CSGM 4.0 has been into the market, where they improve that 4 section in a much more better manner, and I guess they included one more quadrant there in that area. So this is about the CSGM part specifically. Now I come to the development perspective. Development definitely is not my 100% cup of tea, but still few question has been asked in the development area. What do you mean by the business rule and the client script? How the business rule and the client script has been different. Also, one important question: at what point of time you have to be use the business rule and when you have to be use the client script. A very, very, very basic but important point. Here the question can be asked on the REST and the SOAP as well. What is the REST? What is the SOAP? What is the difference between REST and the SOAP? When a developer need to be use the REST, when a developer need to be use the SOAPing part. What is the difference between the data policy and the UI policy? What is the when I can bring the data into the service now? It means we are specifically talking about how you create the import side. What do you mean by the call sec here? These things, these are looks a basics, but it's very important from the development perspective. The development question, the development interview start from here only. Then if you are not that much lucky, then the interviewer can ask you, okay, open your PDI and write a code for me. In this time it can be asked the question on the glides part as well. Glide record, glide Ajax kind of things question can be asked here. In this area, the another point is that interviewer can ask you the specific table name as well, that which table you are using, where the I can say update set are storing. What do you mean by the update set? How you can get the update set? So these are the few basic things which can be asked in that particular area. Now the next topic which come in the new products, because nowadays ITSM definitely is in the market, but another ServiceNow products are into the market. So question can be asked on the CSM, GRC, HRSD, or I can say SecOps. I'll not say it's a PPM, it's a SPM now at point of time. ITBM has been renamed as a SPM. So these questions can be asked. If I talk from the CSM perspective, the questions can be asked that what is the fundamental, what is the base of the CSM. So it is basically built on the B2B and B2C model. What is the difference between the portal given by CSM and the service SP portal? What is the difference between this? Why I cannot use the SP portal for the CSM? How many a portal has been given by ServiceNow from the CSM perspective? So one is the CSM/CSM and one is the CSP/P. It is one for the customer and one for the consumer, B2B and B2C part. Then in the CSM, the question can be asked on the accounts, contracts, entitlements things as well, that how you create an account, how you map the context there, where the context is getting stored into the service now. So these kind of questions can be asked from the CSM perspective. Then from the HRSD side, again the questions start from the portal, and here you can include the ESM as well, enterprise service management. That is a new concept, has been introduced in the last release, I guess. So you can put that part and you can say that ServiceNow bringing everything on a one portal now. They're removing this. I'll not say they're removing, but they're working that to bring everything on the E/ESM portal is there, which we are going to be used. Now from the GRC perspective, GRC is basically deal on the compliance risk part, and also GRC has been renamed now with the IRM, that is integrated risk management, where you include the vendor management in that area. Now after this part, question can be come from the item perspective. I'm not a 100% technical guy, but if I'll not say that I don't know the other discovery part. So if not much, you should know that what is discovery, how the discovery has been differentiated from the service mapping, what are the methods or the ways to do the discovery. So it's like a horizontal, vertical, what are the life cycle of a discovery. It can be asked like, first you have to be design the pattern, it go and match the pattern, and what is the technique used in the discovery. That is SAGM. SAGM is a technique, SHAZM, I guess it's the right spelling. So those are the techniques has been used in that particular area. But in short, the point is that other than ITSM, every other module has a lot of demand at point of time. So we should know not much, but little bit you can get that part in the understanding. Now the next few sections specifically I'm bringing from the business analyst or the consulting perspective. When I say the business analyst, the first question asked in the interview, why we need a business analyst in the team. So this is the time you have to be sell, you have to be make proud that you are being the skill, and you have to be prove that why it is be very much important. Just to put a relevant point here, just to put a importance here, I can say now in the ITL 4, even though XLOS has been introduced, business analyst as a practice in the part of the ITL 4. This is the one of the things that earlier it was not there, but now the question comes why we are be required here. So you can say here that to convert the customer functional language into the technical language, we need a business analyst, because we are the one, I am the one, you are the one who are going to be talk to the customer in their terms. So it is well saying in some way that only the bear know where the shoe pinches. It means unless I will not understand the customer thoughts, understand the customer feeling, understand the customer pain, I cannot do that part. The drawback is here that the technical guys, if they are going in the requirement gathering, they speak more into the technical terms, which can be create a problem for the customer. So that is the prime reason that we as a business analyst required on that particular place. Then the question can become, okay, but what is the routine you are playing or following in your day-to-day life in the business analyst at your workplace. So you can say that my day start with the requirement gathering, requirement allocation, documentation, analysis, then solution validation, assessment, all these things, and at the last communication of the requirement has been taken, that particular part in that area. Multiple questions can be asked here, that why and what is the skill set is required for the business analyst. Maybe I can say few things you can read on the BA book and you can understand that what are the skill sets required for that particular part. Now if you are saying that you are working in the business analyst area, the next question come, hey, do you conduct the workshops as well? This is the prime question, has been asked number of times in the interview to me. It says that, okay, Atul, you have a project now, you have to be kick off the workshop, how you are going to be plan that part. So I recommend, if you If you want to know that the more accurate information, I'll prefer to go for the BA box and read that particular thing. But if you speak to me, I'll give an answer like that. Before I kick off my workshop, I should know that who are my stakeholder, to whom I'm going to be meet. I need to be understand that to what person is playing what role in my workshop. Then before I go to the workshop, I have to prepare a definite agenda with the timings. It should include something from the customer side, it should include something from the my side, and at the last, when this has been done on the daily basis, I have to prepare the report that how much we discussed, how much we left. And also every day you have to prepare the raid log, that is RAID raid log you have to prepare, so that you can tell that today we delayed this workshop by the 6, 5 or 3 hours or the 4 hours, and these is the risk that it can delay the project delivery as well. And at last you have to do the communication part. So in short, you can tell the practical experience which you have from your previous experiences, you can tell to the customer interview, and it can be taken into the consideration. The next section which come in the business analyst is called the documentation. It is very much important because everybody hate document writing, but it is the core skill, I can say, for the business analyst. So the main work start for the BA is from the documentation in the terms of checking the SOW, writing the, sometimes as a business analyst I support in the SOW as well. So nothing to be worried that Atul, you are speaking wrong. It's all about the experience, guys, what I have. So I participate in the SOWs as well, from a previous experience perspective. Then if I come from the requirement perspective, then I can say that I prepare the BRD, that is business requirement document. I prepare the FRS, that is functional requirement specification. SRD, software development, I can say documentation. So n number of documentation you can say, and to support that part you must say that you are using the templates as well to support, because templates are the standardized documents which can be used across the organization. So these are the few documentation part I am telling you from the interview perspective. Now the next point which come here is called the Agile. Now if you are a business analyst, so question can become, okay, do you have any idea about the Agile? Because nowadays every company is using in up to some extent as the Agile format only, Agile framework only. So here the question can become, okay, what do you mean by the user story and how you write the user story? Be specific on the user story, guys, because this is the one of the major area which interviewer can be looking from you. So you clearly say that in the business analyst, in the Agile format, I can say that we have to be write a story like, as a user or the persona, I want that what I want to be achieve, so that the benefit of that particular user story I can put. And at last mention that acceptance criteria as well, that unless this criteria will not met, I cannot say that these things has been taken care, or this story can be, or this story can be marked as a done. So definition of done, definition of ready, you have to be clear. Also you can say that if you are participating in the different sprints or the Agile ceremonies as well, like sprint planning, sprints estimation, retrospective, so you can put that thoughts as well in the interview. At the last, I'm coming to a scenario based. Nowadays the thought process has been completely changed. The question has been asked in the interview. Let's take example, Atul, you are in a workshop. Now there is a conflict between two stakeholders. How you will handle that particular situation? The question can become that, Atul, you are done with the requirement gathering, but customer says or customer change the requirement once the development of the sprint has been started. Then how you will handle that situation? The question can become in a way that you are saying to the customer that this is the right way to do this requirement or implement this requirement, but the customer is saying no, I want with the another way. So how you will handle these particular things? So it means in these areas specifically, be ready with one or two practical scenarios where you face the challenges. The question can be asked that what are your inputs given to customer which make a major difference in that particular implementation. These are very, very specific, I'm not saying specific question, but yes, these are the questions which can be asked in the interview, because being a business analyst, being a consultant, you are the front face of a customer. You are representing your organization in front of the customer. So these questions can be done. Now another question which asked to me in the interview, let's say Atul, you prepare the workshop agenda, you share the agenda with the stakeholder, and the day when you reach to the workshop, customer says, sorry, I don't want to be go with this agenda, I have my specific agenda. Then how you will handle that particular situation. So these are the specific things where the interviewer want to be see that how much confidence, how you solve the problem. They're not much interested in your cases, they're interested in your confidence and how you solve that particular problem. How the one more question is say can be asked that customer is not ready to go live. How you will communicate, how you will handle that customer, or how you will convince that customer to ready for the go live or the ServiceNow implementation. If customer is saying, okay, I want this thing, and you say it is a customization, then how you will handle that customization? What alternatives you give to the customer? So in short, you had to be very clear on the scenario specific answer. Be show the results, give the answer in a such a manner that it says that you have, and I'm not saying put a fake experience, no, put a real time example, maybe a small or a big, but you should be able to show the problem solving skills in front of the customer. So multiple scenarios there, guys. I cannot be put everything in the video. The next section that is come from the pre-sales part, because being a consultant, if I say, oh my god, you're a consultant, are you or can you participate in the pre-sales? How you can support my pre-sales team in that area? Maybe you can say, if you're not interested in this domain, you can say I have no experience, not interested, so you can skip the part. If you say that yes, I can support, then the question can become how you can support to the pre-sales team. So here you can say that you be working as expert in the ServiceNow, so you can get the facts and the figures for that particular industry, and you can support your pre-sales team to prepare that particular presentation. You can go for a small kind of a demo or kind of a POC kind of things, and then you can show that part. The last three sections are very much important. Best practices. Being a functional consultant, being a process consultant, being a ServiceNow consultant, being a ServiceNow architect, if you have experience more than 7, 8, 9x experience, more than 10 plus experience, the questions, such type of question has been changed. The question can be asked, why we should use the flow designer? Why we should use the catalog builder? What are the best practices to implement the service catalog management? What are the best practices to manage or to implement the ServiceNow? What are the best practices to handle a team? What are the best practices to make sure that customer always in a favor of your terms or your words? So these are the things which can be asked at anywhere at any point of time. So you should be ready. I'm not sure that how much we can be answered in the practical situation, but in my previous experience, these set of questions have been asked to me on that particular part. But at the last second last topic, basically we have the implementation perspective. So now from this side, what I bring here specifically, because ServiceNow is going wider and wider. So maybe the customer can ask, okay, what type of methodology you follow for the implementation? So before, I guess London or near about London or New York somewhere, ServiceNow was using the SIM methodology, that is ServiceNow implementation methodology. But now it has been changed completely. Now they call it as the Now Create. In the Now Create, you will find each and everything: the customer presentation, process documentations, assets, or this kind of documentation you can find. So nowadays, if you want to go to the customer side for a workshop, again this is coming in the workshop section as well. So no need to prepare your own slides. You can go to the Now Create, download those slides, just modify as per little bit requirement and present to the customer as it is. This is what ServiceNow recommend here. And at the last section, the life journey, the what role you are playing at point of time, what experience you'll be gaining at point of time. It will be, the questions will be around the same section as well. The things you mention in your resume or the CV, this is more important to be handled that part. Okay, so guys, it is a time for me to stop the discussion here. So I hope you like this video. I try to cover few more questions in the part 2, but before that I request, please put your questions, put your comments in the comment section so that I can know that what else you are looking for in that particular area. Till that time, thank you so much. Please subscribe my channel, like my channel, and share my channel with your friends and families and the colleagues. Till that time, have a nice day, guys. Take care and